From the 1971 release Sticky Fingers, you heard Can't Hear Me Knocking, the Rolling Stones, and just then a deep, deep cut from 1993 off the Zooropa record, U2, Johnny Cash with The Wanderer. Another fun little cut from that is the album was actually produced by Flood, Brian Eno, and The Edge.
Your boy.
Brian Eno is possibly the greatest musician of all time in my eyes.
When I was going through my playlist, everything leads me back to Brian Eno. So I'm getting goosies.
Yeah.
I'm getting some goosies. So the other thing I want to make very clear, I'm like an album purist. So like I'm an album guy.
Yeah, and that's because that's how you grew up essentially.
Yes. So my old man has incredible record collection. Ridiculous, like hundreds and hundreds of vinyl. So my journey with my dad is he influenced me in a lot of ways, but then I needed to move away and find my own music. And then in my 20s, we reunited, and then things went up another level. But growing up, Rolling Stones, U2, In Excess, JJ Cale, just amazing albums. And Rolling Stones just went on this crazy run of just like album after album, from like Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street. They were a full albums band. It's amazing they're still going today.
Amazing, dude. In the block before, you mentioned your mother and the confidence instilled on you. I'd really like to go back there.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great place to sort of continue on this musical journey. What was that relationship like?
I'm pretty lucky, like incredibly supportive parents. No matter the weird, crazy shit I've done, they've always just like kind of backed me, which has been amazing. It's given me this kind of confidence. Like as we kind of move into my teens, got that support, but then also my parents were like famous fighters. Like they've been having the same fight for over 30 years, and that used to affect me a lot as a kid. Like I was like trying to save their relationship at times. So
a lot of pressure for a teenager.
Yeah, for sure. And I just like, I went to a nice school and I always felt like we were a bit different to like everyone else. So
is that the old, like you go over Johnny's house and you're like, oh man, they've got a water filter.
Yeah.
Or the water's in the fridge and the sauce isn't in the pantry. It's just like, this is a little bit different. These little cues. And then you start to learn about yourself. I guess.
Exactly. They couldn't afford to send me to the school that they sent me to, and I'm so grateful. But like money always felt like a real pressure. So it was an interesting stage as a teenager, like wanting to rebel, but then also going, but your parents are like under a lot of pressure, kind of giving you this life. So I've got very cool parents, like extremely cool parents, and I've never had to hide anything from them, which is
like
nice.
as a young dad. We're all young dads. I think that's like one of the goals, right? Is to be like, if I have a strong enough relationship with my son or daughter, they're going to be able to come to me in the hardest times and be like, Dad, like I fucked up, I crashed the car, and I actually had a 6-pack of Bundy, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
I'll help.
But that's what they need, right?
Exactly what they need. That's
everything seems to be pointing to. It's like you just need someone to talk to and be like, whoa, this is happening, and someone to not go, well, what the fuck are you doing? Do you not understand about the money? I'm spending all this money, and making you feel worse about it, and just go, oh, that's all good then, mate. I'll come pick you up now. Like, see you soon. Where are you? You know?
That's trust, because if you make a big deal out of everything, they'll never come to you because they're like, you've given them enough data points where they're like, I'm not going to go to you if shit goes down. We do this tradition with our mates. I think it's like an old Celtic or Irish tradition when we become dads, where we get around a fire and have a few beers and kind of talk about what's something we want to continue in the way that we were raised from our parents, what's something we want to stop, like something we want to do differently, and then what's something new that we want to discover. And it's a nice way, like, as kind of initiation into becoming a dad, of like, working out, what do you want to take from your parents and then change.
Yeah, that is the most incredible thing I've ever heard. Who thought of that? How did that come about? You've got
the guy who started Tomorrow Man, who I work with, Tom Harkin. He kind of, I don't know where he found it, but we've been doing it, and it's been really cool. Like for you guys, what's something that you wanted to continue from the way that you were parented with your kids?
This is going to be an easy episode, man. We just got asked a question.
This is the best.
Dinner time and the celebration of hard work. Would you like me to elaborate on
Yeah,
that?
please.
I
Oh,
was
mate,
thinking
but
that too.
mum and dad have... I grew up in the back of a liquor store. Mum and dad had bought a business with my baba, my grandmother, and...
Croatian?
Macedonian.
Macedonian.
How dare you?
Sorry.
It's happened a fair bit. And what my parents were awesome at is just like, we're getting a bottle of wine, a home cooked meal, everyone's sitting down, everyone's celebrating. My bubba's like, here's $20 or here's some lollies or whatever. And it's just like, we're all together and it's just like this beautiful family. Yes, there's arguments and there's different political views and it gets a bit handsy and loud and yelling, but it's all still just like, love is the main message and a celebration of hard
And
work.
consistent.
That's
Love that.
beautiful.
So you'd continue that. What about you?
Man, mine, and I spoke about it a few weeks ago, my parents made a conscious effort to expose me to things. And when I was a kid, I always had to catch the bus everywhere, because they worked so hard. It sounds like we had a few parallels, like my old man was a journo. He worked his whole off all day, all the time, and was a creative and loved it, and like was in on it. And so is mum. She's the same. She's highly intellectual, highly intelligent person. And so, they both had interests and they worked really hard to send me and my sister and my younger brother to a good school. And because of that, on the Saturday or the Sunday, and it's like they'd already driven you to footy and, participated for however many hours. And now being a dad, you're like, for their whole lives. And I wanted to get driven to my mate's house in Floriat, or I needed, lift to school. It's like, nah, ride your bike.
Go get there.
And yeah, like you have to do it. And I know that as a child and as a young man, I made a lot of mistakes non-stop pretty much. And I know that especially my old man, because he'd be explicit about it. But, like you could just tell that they were so disappointed and so cut because they had made all these sacrifices so I could have these opportunities. But like you could tell they'd find a way to swallow it and do the righty. And they knew that that's the right thing. Telling Tom what to do, I've got to be careful about this. It doesn't work. And they made that conscious effort of like, all right, we're going to expose Tom. He's going to fail a lot and he's going to learn a lot. But in the end, that will be the thing that makes him, come through. And I'm very thankful that I've had, exposure to those experiences. And the reason is because I really have come to believe that people at all, your kids or anyone, do not learn from people telling them things. You don't learn anything from anything that anyone's told you. And it happened every time in your childhood and your teenage years when you're like, I can't wait to get my license. And your parents are like, mate, just enjoy being a kid. Trust me, being an adult. And you're like, yeah, right. Like, what are you talking about? You don't know. I know. But slowly you make so many mistakes and then you realise through self-experience, like, that's right and that's wrong and this is what happens, not anyone telling you that. And I think that that's something that I'd love to continue in my family.
What about you, Ryder?
Just like relentless love and affection. I think like boys in particular, well, all kids, but like boys need that love and affection. So I think, that's a big one of just like, constantly telling them I love them, I think is, something I'm definitely doing.
Stop.
Oh, let's go into stop. Yeah.
My take on stop is I think it's like, it's totally fine because like to say to my parents, I wish that this was a little bit different. And it's not like coming from a place of like, you've let me down. It's more so like you were only acting and doing what you thought was best with the skills that you had. So I just like, what would stop for me is probably with my father, the anger to be the first reaction.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, I'm going to hear this out.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty
I
simple
relate
one.
hard to that.
Yeah.
I was like, my dad was either like the funniest guy ever or pretty moody. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to be like that. And that's what I become. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and man, if you know, if I'd fucked up, it's just like we've spoken about it before. If I had like crashed my car, it was like, bro, chill, man, all good. You didn't like that. That's big. That's hard. But like, you leave the door open, it's like, no, that's easy. Like, you fucking get that right. So that's the anger reaction is one that I would not like to continue now.
yeah.
Yeah, it's actually funny. Mine's kind of the same as yours. It's like, it's actually removing, and again, I probably want to make that same disclaimer. Like, I love my parents. I think they did the best job ever, and like, it's like the most blessed thing that I have, and it's responsible for all my opportunities in life, and I very much feel like I am them. But yeah, I suppose one of the things that I'm trying to wrestle with in that same sense is like just having expectations of your kid, and doesn't imply like, oh, I want him to be a footballer, let's say, or I need him. It's more like you want him to have the light on. You want anything from them, you know. You just have an expectation about how they're going to behave or should behave in public, if they're having a tantrum, whatever it is. It's like this sometimes socially led, sometimes internally led expectation of like, why is my kid doing this? And that drives, I reckon, the frustration and the anger. Where it's just like, fucking, what's wrong
completely
with
agree,
this?
hey.
What is happening
Completely
right
agree.
now? But it's just about like, it's because you're expecting too much of them, and really what they need is like that, just like so much love. And like,
Yeah.
yes, they're a completely silly child, and it's not till 18, it's like till like 24, 5, till you have a kid, really, you like stop being super stupid.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's I think that'd be something, having like less expectations, so your kid just feels like, oh, that unconditional
Yeah.
kind of like, all right, well, I know he doesn't actually care, he just loves me, so I'm going to ask him about it.
Yeah. My stop, thank you guys. My stop is what I mentioned, like, I don't want my kids to be exposed to me and Sivan's bullshit, like our fights, but I also want them to be able to witness disagreement, and because if they're not exposed to that, that's not healthy either. So if Sivan and I ever blew, I want the boys to be able to, and when we do blow, I want them to see the repair, to go,
yeah.
hey, I know that might have been a bit scary. I yelled, and I'm really sorry that I yelled. I was feeling this way, and I've apologized to your mum, and like just those kind of, that kind of
that's
dialogue's
great.
really important.
That's a little tip as well. That's great. That's really smart.
Because they need to be able to see what accountability looks like, and being able to like admit when you've made a mistake and that kind of stuff. So
Seeing the repair, and then being a part of the repair, and it's just like, okay, I might have been. Yeah, and it's hard to avoid, man. They might have heard some stuff, but if it's just like you explain it and you boil it down to really simple things, just like, oh, you know, Daddy shouldn't have spoken like that.
Yeah,
and it's like, you know, Daddy loves you both, and you get down on the level. It's like seems very obvious, but it's just like the only way to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking us that question. Have you got a couple more jams packed that we can jump to?
So
Yeah, funny enough, I actually got shitloads.
Yeah. So I've got this great like baseline of education, but I'm starting of musical education, but I'm starting to get testosterone, and I'm like, want to fucking rebel. So like, Limp Bizkit like kind of comes to mind of just like, fuck you.
Dan behind the desk just started nodding like shit.
Yeah, so Limp Bizkit just like unleashed something within me, and then I'm going to go a complete pace change and tell you a crazy story, underscored by the French band Air.
I'm starting to really fall for you.
Okay,
now, man.
do you know the album Moon
Goose,
Safari?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. I'm very familiar.
All right.
This is Past the Orcs. We'll see you on the other side of these.